All right, Vishwa, so shall we begin?
Sure, we can start.
Yes. So, hello everyone, everyone who's joined us. Welcome to a very, very special session. We are going to talk about careers in finance. So, to talk about this live discussion, we have with us Vishw Akhani. He is a CFA level 2 who's working with a prestigious American bank right now. He is an MBA from Delhi School of Economics, batch 2020. And we are going to talk about the CFA exams, what the exams are, what the exam structure is, what the exam pattern is, what kind of job roles would you expect after CFA? If you've not gone for CFA, what are general job roles available in the finance industry? What skill sets you need to require? And all the other confusing terms and jargons that is associated with the finance industry. So we are going to have a lot of fun. It's a live discussion. You can comment your questions. You can comment your questions in the live chat box, or you can comment in the normal chat box, and we will hope to solve all of your queries. So let's begin. So Vishwa, I'll just throw my first question. You need to introduce yourself because you're a very special person who hails from the engineering background and now you're working as a banker. So first, let everyone know how did that shift happen.
Sure, Shalin. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. I'll briefly introduce myself. So, as you mentioned, I have done my undergraduation in electronics and communications engineering. During the time of my engineering, I figured out that this is not what I want to make my career into. So, at that time, I looked for different opportunities where I can go. So, just like many others engineers do, I started preparing for MBA entrance exams, applied for most of them, and finally secured admission in Delhi School of Economics for MBA program in international business. Now, when I was there in MBA, at that time, because I had some interest in equity markets, I liked reading about finance. So I figured out I need to do another course as well to enhance my knowledge about finance. So I searched for various courses. I looked into CFA, FRM, CMT, CPA, many other courses which are there in finance, and finally I decided to pursue CFA. So in the 2 years of my MBA, I did well in my academics. I completed level 1 of CFA. I almost completed level 2 as well. I finished the preparation, did not go for the exam. And after that, in my final year placements, I secured my placement in one of the global banks as a financial analyst. And currently, for last 3 years, I have been working in the same company. So that is all about myself.
Wow, that's fascinating. I would like to jump to this next question straight ahead, but I have a question from Jyoti. She says, Sir, Delhi School of Economics versus IIM Rohtak. Now, I would not entertain personal questions here, but as you are from Delhi School of Economics and she's asking on the live chat, let's just address this. How do you evaluate if you should go for new IIMs or baby IIMs or Delhi School of Economics or any other college per se?
So personally, for me, my biggest requirement was that Delhi School of Economics provides MBA at a very low cost. So I would consider IIM Rohtak and Delhi School of Economics at par, based on the academics and based on the placements as well. Both of these colleges are on par. Delhi School of Economics, being in Delhi, provides much more opportunities for working in internships in various domains. Companies are situated there in Delhi and Gurgaon, so many other companies visited campus as well. So both of these colleges are at par. So personally, my requirement was because of the lower cost of MBA and a good college as well. So based on these two parameters, I decided to go for Delhi School of Economics. But if you want an IIM tag with you, then IIM Rohtak is also a very good choice. So depending upon your requirement, you can go for any colleges.
Makes sense. Now, Devanshu says, Hi, sir, I'm planning for MBA and looking forward for finance as specialization, but I hardly have knowledge about the domain, mostly known finance from personal finance only. No worries, Devanshu, many people are starters. Almost everyone's a starter at one point of time. So you don't have to worry for the same. We are going to discuss about the CFA exam. So, Vishwa, now my second question is, how did you like select the CFA course to be your domain of future? Because there's this popular CA course, even though it's associated more with the commerce students. So what is the CFA examination? Because all I know is it's Chartered Financial Analyst. Other than that, I don't have any other knowledge for the same. What is the exam? What's the structure of the exam?
Sure. So as Deepanshu asked as well, I had the similar query when I started preparing for my CFA exam. I started looking out for courses. I was also from engineering background. I did not have any knowledge of financial concepts as well. So first of all, what I did was I researched about various courses, as I said. So basic difference between CA and CFA would be, so CA is all about recording day-to-day transactions of an organization, creating the journal entries, after that ledgers, after that trial balance, and based on that creation of the major three statements of any organization, which is P&L, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. So generally, most of the CA roles would be in audit, in taxation, in preparing of these financial statements. CFA is a course where you have all your financial statements available with you. After the financial statements are created, you analyze those statements, you analyze the organization based on the financial performance, whether it is a good organization, whether it is doing good or not. So CFA predominantly is a course for investment management. So most of the subjects in CFA are equity, fixed income securities, portfolio management, economics, quantitative analysis. So all these courses cater to investment management. So if you are planning to go and if you want to pursue your career in portfolio management and investment banking, then this course is for you. And the same way,
Correct.
because of the same reason, I decided to go for CFA. If you talk about the exam structure of CFA, it has 3 levels, level 1, 2, 3. And currently the fee structure is $900 for each level, and the entry fee is around $450. So almost around $3,000 is what you have to pay for doing CFA right now.
Great. So you talked about the subjects that are there in the CFA. So portfolio management is something which is very common because a lot of people have been doing equity investment, stock market investment for a while. But quantitative analysis, corporate banking, then investment banking, these are like the fancy jargons that have been floating in the market, and people without their specific structure, they just know that these are the job roles that are high paying in nature, but they don't know what exactly they are, including myself. I don't know that. So can you with a very simple example explain what these job roles are?
Sure. So, as I said, investment banking and corporate banking are one of the lucrative jobs after CFA which you can get into. So, I'll talk about both. First of all, investment banking is where the bankers help the organization clients raise capital from the market. So, let's say, for example, if Reliance wants to raise capital from the market, either they can go for a stock market, they can raise equity investment, either they can go for a bond market where they can raise debt instruments. So, like that, these bankers help these companies raise capital from the market. So all from the beginning, the paperwork, when should we go to the market, what is the right time, what should be the price at we have to raise the capital, everything, all these services are provided by these investment bankers. So these services are there which they provide. Other than that, there is mergers and acquisitions. So if a company wants to acquire another company, then what should be the price, whether the company is a good fit to this organization or not, whether we should go for a cash deal, whether we should go for a stock deal. So all these help to an organization is done by an investment banker. So these are the roles there. A corporate banking, on the other hand, is specifically catered to lending business. So let's say if Reliance wants loans from any banks, then there will be a relationship banker in most of the banks. These bankers will evaluate the company, whether they can give that loan to a company or not, and after that they will also make sure that whether this company is able to pay back to us or not. So based on these parameters, they provide loans to these organizations. So these falls into corporate banking category.
And you are working in one of the American banks. Because of privacy reasons, we cannot disclose the name of the company, but you are working in a prestigious American bank as a financial analyst. So this is also one of the job roles which is very popular in the market. What is a financial analyst and what does he do?
So generally, as I said, specifically, financial analyst is someone who analyzes the financial data of the company. So based on that financial data, there are multiple things one can do. So for example, as I said, if I'm working in a corporate bank, by analyzing financial data of any organization, I will make sure whether this company is able to pay back to me or not. So my perspective of analyzing this company is on a debt perspective. If I am an investment manager, I will analyze that particular entity based on the earnings sustainability, the growth of that company, whether the share price of that company will increase or not. So like that, my perspective of analyzing that company will be different. The same way, currently in my profile, I am catering to my own bank only. So what I am working into right now is my domain is investment banking, where I am supporting investment banking business in long-term forecasting and variance analysis of that particular business. So what we do is generally in the year end, we forecast our revenues expenses, our headcount information for the next 3 to 5 years. And after that, once we start receiving the actuals data, based on that we analyze whether our forecast and our actuals are matching or not. If not, why the gap is there between our actual numbers and our forecast number. And after that, we again incorporate everything into our forecast. So if I give a basic example of how an FP&A work is, let's say if I'm planning to go to a trip of Goa, then first of all I will create a plan. Then let's say my budget for trains or a flight would be, let's say, per person 10,000 for going and coming. After that, my hotel budget would be 20,000. My food expense will be 10,000. So like that, my major expenses will be there, and I will create a budget of, let's say, 50,000. Now, once I start booking, after a few months, I realize that flights prices have increased. So now I will incorporate those new information into my new forecast. So now my forecast will change. Earlier my cost was 10,000. Now it will change to 15,000. So like that, all the new information, once the time goes, I will incorporate that into my newer forecast, and based on that I will analyze how my actual numbers are looking compared to what I planned. So like that, we control the numbers of any business. So this is what I do.
Wow, so it looks very, very technical, and I'm sure it is as technical as it sounds. So I have one more question now. Vishesh Kumar says, hi Vishwa and Shalin. Hi Vishesh. Then Vishesh, then there's Bharat who says, Bharat or Bharat, I'm not sure. सर मैं ऑप्शन ट्रेडर हूँ, 2.5 साल से एक्सपीरियंस है, मुझे हेज फंड या इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में जाना है, बट आई डोंट नो फ्रॉम वेयर टू स्टार्ट, कुड यू गाइड मी, एंड आई डोंट हैव अ गुड कॉलेज, I still plan to go for MBA finance. So this is an interesting question, that if you've not secured a good college, because of many reasons, because CAT is an exam that depends on your English proficiency skills, and not many people are proficient in English. That's the reality of our country. So if you are someone who doesn't end up in a good MBA college, who doesn't end up in the prestigious IIMs, then does CFA actually help you with that, or like a good MBA finance college is a prerequisite for your success in the career?
So answering your question, all these big investment banks go to campuses of these big IIMs. So if you are not doing your MBA from a good college, then it is possible that from campus you might not get an opportunity to go and work with these investment banks. But if you prepare thoroughly, if you have good practice, if you have cleared your CFA, after that you can surely apply from outside the campus to these banks. You can start from working into various consulting firms as well, which helps in mergers and acquisition and other kind of roles which are very similar to investment banking. So after that, slowly and gradually, after gaining some experience, it is possible for you to go and work for these banks. It is not required that only from IIMs these banks hire. If you have good experience, you have completed your CFA, then it is possible for you to go and work for these organizations. But you will have to study very hard, and you will have to at least finish your CFA before that.
Vishesh Kumar asks a question which begs us to the question of preparation of CFA, because you have CFA till L2 and you're preparing for L3 right now. Vishesh says, I'm an engineer and I got a good college, also planning to go in finance. Can we prepare for CFA L1 before the June end if we put 8 to 10 hours per day? So the number of hours per day if you want to put in, and at what time would you appear in the CFA level 1, level 2? And how many subjects are there in one level? And what is the exam structure? Is it like an MCQ, or is it like question answers, or sums you need to solve? What is it like that? And what kind of preparation plan would you need?
So specifically for CFA exam, as I said, the exam is structured in 3 levels. So level 1 is all about the conceptual knowledge of financial jargons. So if you study level 1, you will almost have all the theoretical knowledge of 10 subjects which are there in CFA. The level 2 is all about the valuation of various financial instruments. So for example, if you are studying equity markets, if you are studying fixed income securities, then how to value all these securities, is the valuation of these securities is being taught in level 2. And level 3 is all about application. So once you have got good conceptual knowledge, once you have learned how to value these things, then how to apply all these concepts in real life is what being taught in level 3. Now the exam structure is different for all 3 levels. Level 1 is all the MCQs. So earlier when I gave the exam, it was a 6-hour exam in a morning session and a afternoon session. We used to have 120 MCQ questions in both the sessions, so total 240 questions, and all these questions were from the 10 subjects which we were learning. So all these 10 subjects are quantitative analysis, fixed income securities, equity market, derivative market, alternative investments, economics, portfolio management, corporate finance, and many other. So almost all these subjects you will learn in MBA finance as well. So you will be familiar with these words once you join the MBA course. Secondly, the level 2, the subjects will remain same, but as I said, the learning pattern will differ. So it will be more focused toward the valuation part and not only the information or not only the theoretical knowledge. Now level 2 is one step ahead based on the examination. It will have only MCQs, but it will be on RC form. So for example, reading comprehensions, what we did in CAT. So there will be a reading comprehension passage, and from that passage there will be 6 questions or 4 questions. So like that, these questions, the exam will be divided into 10 to 12, these 10 to 12 paragraphs, and based on that you have to answer the questions in the MCQ format only. The level 3 is slightly different. It is also divided into 2 parts. One part, earlier what used to happen was one part for only MCQ, like level 2 with reading comprehension, and the second part was for essay. So in that part you are not given any MCQ options. You just have to go and write based on what the question is asked. So like that, these 3 levels are different based on the exam pattern. Now to start preparing, what my problem was, because I was from engineering background, I did not have any knowledge of the financial jargons. So what I decided to do was, between the time I got admission into my college and I joined the college, I searched for various classes in Delhi from where I can go and take classes for CFA level 1. So even before my college started, I was there in Delhi attending my first lecture of CFA. So even before my college started, I think 15-20 days before that, I went to Delhi and I was attending the lecture. So like that, I started my preparation. It took me around 6 months to complete the course because I did not have enough time after my college to study. So I used to study around 1 to 2 hours or maximum 3 hours. And in the weekends, I used to have my classes. So like that, in 6 months, I finished my course. But if someone is free right now, if they can give 7 to 8 hours per day, then it is possible for them to give exams in 2 to 3 months. Generally, it is said that it requires around 300 hours of study for each level to complete CFA. But what my advice would be to any candidate would be to finish your course as soon as possible and solve as many questions as possible. So if you have solved enough questions, then in the exam it will be easier for you. Just by reading the text or just by going through the lectures, it won't be possible for you to pass the exam. You have to solve as many questions as possible. So CFA provides these resources online where you can go and solve questions from each of the subjects which you have learned. So that would be my advice.
Wow, that was a very comprehensive answer. Now, if I add 2 more questions to the same, because preparation is something where most of students get stuck because it's like the starting path of the journey. Is coaching, like a professional coaching classes, definitely required for this course? What do you recommend for the same? And secondly, most of the students who are currently the students that I'm sharing this podcast with, most of them are in their MBA, starting out their MBA journey. Many of them may have completed their first year of MBA. So how rigorous is the CFA? How does it complement or how does it clash with your MBA schedule? Because MBA is, of course, as you know, a program of much rigor where you have to participate in many activities. There will be quizzes and tests and everything. So is it manageable to do both of them simultaneously? And what are your opinions on that?
So firstly, if I talk about the preparation of CFA, for me, I found it very helpful to go for a coaching classes because, as I said, I was from engineering background, and the curriculum, if you first see the books, it is very overwhelming. It has 10 subjects, 6 large books, and almost 3,000 pages worth of curriculum. So once you see those books, you find it very difficult that you will be able to finish everything in 6 months. So for level 1, I had gone for coaching classes, but for level 2 and level 3, I have not gone for any classes because once I was familiar with the concepts of finance, it was easy for me to comprehend everything, and after that I understood that this is how I should prepare and this is how I will be able to finish everything and I will be able to understand. But as I said, because I started even before my college got started, I had to go for the classes. That's what I felt at that time. Many of my friends in my college did not take any classes and they too passed with very good marks. So it is not necessary whether you go or whether you do not go. But if you feel that you have to finish in certain time, if you feel that you do not have any background and it will be difficult for you to manage everything, then classes surely helps. Because as I said, my classes used to be in weekends only, on Saturdays and Sundays. So in 6 months, with the studies, with all my presentations and all my quizzes and everything, I was able to finish the full course. And earlier at that time, CFA was only scheduled once a year. So my exam was 1 year away, and in 6 months I completed my course. So after that, for 6 months, I had enough time for revision. I had enough time for solving as many questions as possible. So because of that, at the time of exam, I was very relaxed. I did not have any problem. So like that, even if you are preparing on your own, I would advise that finish your course as soon as possible. Now coming to the amalgamation of CFA and MBA, as I said, because I was doing MBA in international business, but it is more of a general MBA course where all the subjects have international perspective. So I was studying human resource management, marketing, sales, operations, finance, everything. But where CFA helped me was all the subjects in finance, I did not have to study for my college. Everything was covered in CFA. So if you're doing MBA finance, then all your MBA subjects will be covered in CFA. So other than studying for CFA, you would not have to study for your subjects separately. There will be quizzes, there will be other activities which you will be doing in college. You can give time for that. But for studying perspective, you won't have to study anything if you are doing CFA. It is that comprehensive. It covers all the subjects of at least MBA. So if you are doing MBA finance, then the course is even more recommended for you, because simultaneously you will be doing MBA and you will be completing your course as well.
That is really interesting. And someone was asking, could you please share resources for L1 preparation? कहाँ से करें? आपको online course suggest कर सकते हो?
So as I said, there are many offline classes available. So in Delhi there was an offline class, so which was very near from my college. So because of that, I used to go there. But after that, I also found various online classes as well where you can go through. And the resources are provided by CFA Institute only. So once you pay for the level 1 exam, the online resources will be provided by CFA Institute only. So you won't have to pay any fees for that. But if you want a physical resource, after that you can pay a certain fees to CFA Institute. They will provide those books to your home address. They will courier that to you. So these are there. Other than that, for CFA, there is a Schwezer notes available. So there is a brand called Schwezer which prepares notes for CFA. So as I said, CFA curriculum is worth 3,000 pages, but Schwezer has condensed that particular course into 1,000 pages, and all the subjects are covered. So if you feel that it won't be possible for you to study everything, you won't be able to read through 3,000 pages, then you can go for Schwezer notes as well. But I would recommend you to go through the entire course, because it provides a good knowledge, a good examples, and it is beneficial in that way. Passing the exam only is not important, but if you understand the basics, if you understand everything, then it will be beneficial you in the long run.
Passing the exam is not important, understanding the concepts are also important. How long did it take you to get this mindset from an engineer to a CFA candidate? Wow, you're seeing such transformation of you. So one more question that keeps popping up is that there are people who are interested to go abroad, want to settle abroad or have jobs in MNCs working in the United States or Canada. Does CFA help in any case to those people who want to apply for higher education or land a job at those locations? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. So CFA in a sense is a global course. It is taken by students from almost more than 100 countries. So let's say when I am giving an interview as well, if a person who is interviewing from onshore, even though I am applying in India only, that person might not recognize the Delhi School of Economics or any other college. They might recognize IIM, but other than that, they might not recognize other college. But they surely recognize what a CFA is. So that creates an impression that this person knows about finance. They have gone through a rigor of 3 levels of CFA and they understand everything. So that way it is very helpful. And apart from that, as I said, because it is a global course, if you have to go and work in any other countries as well, the Indian MBA might not be recognized there if you have not done that from a very good college, but CFA will be surely recognized. So it will be easier for you to apply for other courses or apply for a job directly in other regions if you have done CFA. So in that regards, it is very helpful.
Wow. So one more question that I have in my mind is that you said like investment banking and corporate banking. These are the kind of job roles which are like on the spectrum. They are on the higher end. So we know that based on the supply and demand curve, that high paying, high salaried jobs would be less in numbers, which is very obvious to state. So which are the job roles which are abundant in number, which are sort of like entry level jobs where you would start your career? Because many people would be like you who would not have any other background, they would be just starting their careers in finance. What kind of job roles can they target?
Sure. So generally, as I said, investment banking, a role in a private equity firm or a venture capital, these are all a dream role for any CFA candidate or an MBA candidate. But as I said, these roles are not available in abundant in nature. There are limited roles and limited vacancies. These role demands high number of hours as well. So if you are a person who might not want to go for this particular rigor, if you are a person who is not doing MBA from a very good college, where an entry level job in investment banking or this private equity or venture capital firm is not possible, then there are other courses, then there are other openings where you can go for. So as I said, in the role currently I am working for is for a bank. The same role is available in other organizations as well, because all the companies will require a finance team who will be able to control their numbers, who will be able to provide guidance to the CEO and CFOs where the sales, where the expenses are going for that particular company, whether they are profitable at an entity level or not. So like that, these kind of role are available in abundant in nature in almost all the organization. This is a role called financial analyst. Other than that, the credit rating companies are also there in abundant in nature. So credit assessment, credit rating, all these type of roles are also available. There is
what is credit assessment, if you can explain?
So as I explained, for a corporate bank, so there are credit rating agencies as well. So if an entity requires a loan from a bank, then they will have to have a credit assessment from a credit rating agency. So what they do is they go through the financial statements of the company, they go through the stock statement of the company, they look at the industry which the company is working in, whether the company is in a competitive space, whether the company has a good market share. After that, based on the earnings of that particular company and the forecast of that company, a credit rating company may assign a certain rating to the organization. After that, the company can go to a bank or any other NBFC and then can ask for a loan. So these types of credit rating companies are also there in India, where there are many roles available if you want to go to. There are other consulting firms as well, where the financial consulting roles are available, where you can apply easily. So like that, there are many roles if you do an MBA finance, and these roles are available. And the starting pay is also very good for these kinds of roles.
Wow. So one more question that pops up is that there are many people who want to be self-employed within their domain. You just go for live chat. Vandit Shah says, "Thank you, Vishwa. I thought that was inspired. Thank you so much, Vandit." And so the question is that there are many individuals out there who are looking to start their own business, dhandha. And fintechs are there, and they are the thing of future. Everyone knows that. But for someone who's just a novice who doesn't have that much amount of capital in their hand, small scale businesses, as we say. So is it possible in the finance industry to start something of small scale?
So as I said, CFA specifically caters to investment management. So once you complete your CFA, you will have a good theoretical knowledge of the concepts in finance, how to manage a portfolio, how to invest, and everything. So if you want to start a business in a non-finance world, then it is not required for you to do a CFA. If you want to start your business in a finance domain, even then after just completing CFA, you will have a good theoretical knowledge. But starting a business in finance requires certain years of experience. You have to go through various tools which are there in the market right now. You won't be able to just complete CFA and after that directly start portfolio management. So yes, that is helpful. CFA is helpful, but I would recommend a certain years of experience after you complete your CFA in a portfolio management company, in a company where the investment advisory is given, and after that you will understand that how the industry works, and after that people will also trust you that you have enough years of experience, because you will be managing people's capital. So without zero experience, there will be less people who trust you with their money. So I would recommend a good 5-6 years of experience in this domain, and after that it is comparatively easier for you to start a business in finance.
Now we would end with a quirky question. Vishesh Kumar asks one more interesting question. This will be the last question, and then we'll then we'll end this session. Vishw says, how can AI disrupt the CFA jobs? What are your thoughts on the same?
So particularly since few months I have been also using ChatGPT, but specifically AI disrupting the financial industry is not what I think is in a near future. I surely think that it can complement my role. It is very easy to use the AI tool and then do my job. But replacing my job using finance will not be there is what I believe. Secondly, there will be some jobs which are repetitive in nature, which do not require the human intervention that much. So that jobs might be replaced, but there will be other jobs that will be opening due to AI. So because of that, I feel that it cannot disrupt the market in such a way. Because if I give a simple example, when calculator came, people thought that what will accountant do now? But after that, many other jobs came up. When computer came, people thought that there will be many jobs which will be disrupted. But after every invention, certain jobs will be wiped out, which are redundant after that. But there are many new jobs which will open. So I think financial, rather than doing a repetitive day-to-day work, I think more creative work will be done by the financial analysts. The other day-to-day tasks which are repetitive in nature will be done by AI. So I can conclude like that.
Wow, that is really interesting. So we discussed many interesting questions, and I hope that the viewers have had some clarity over the background that we have discussed upon. If you have any specific questions, you can leave them on the comment box. I will definitely try it and get checked and answered by Vishwa. Or Vishwa will, even if he doesn't know, he would ask someone else, and you would get your answers. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please don't forget to, the drill, like, share, and subscribe. Because if you share it with other people, it would be very helpful for all the candidates who are looking to build their jobs in the finance domain. So thank you so much, Vishwa. I've had a great time interacting with you, and we are going to meet soon.
Thank you, Shalin. Thank you. Have a good day.